trial. The last of 9 charged in the death of a Saskatoon woman now before the courts. Saskatoon releases its housing strategy. Is it enough to make homes more affordable? And a helping hand, how one man is using 3D technology to make adaptive devices.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. For the first time, we're hearing the disturbing details of a Saskatoon woman's murder. The information has been under a publication ban until now. It comes as the last of 9 people charged in her death is on trial. Laura Woodward reports.
The disturbing details of Megan Gallagher's death can now be reported years after they were protected by a publication ban. According to an agreed statement of facts, Gallagher was killed in a garage on Weldon Avenue sometime between September 20th and September 21st, 2020. 9 people have been charged in connection with Gallagher's death. 47-year-old Roderick Sutherland is the last to stand trial. With all other cases now concluded, details of the case can be made public. The Crown says gang members approached Sutherland about using his garage to tie Gallagher to a chair and question her. Court heard Gallagher's body was placed in a truck and thrown over a bridge into the South Saskatchewan River. Sutherland has pleaded not guilty to manslaughter, unlawful confinement, and offering an indignity to human remains. Gallagher was 30 years old when she was reported missing. This convenience store surveillance footage shows one of the last times she was seen. Her remains were found 2 years later in the river near St. Louis. Sutherland's jury trial is expected to last 2 weeks, with Justice John Morrell presiding. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The City of Saskatoon is unveiling a new housing strategy to reduce homelessness and boost affordability. The plan heads to City Committee this week for its first round of approvals. CTV's Stacey Hine has those details.
Roughly 11,000 households in Saskatoon, or about 10% of households, face housing insecurity, with low-income families, single mothers, seniors, and Indigenous residents most affected. To address the growing need, the city is rolling out a new affordable housing plan called Housing Saskatoon. Mayor Cynthia Block says supporting vulnerable residents is a top priority.
It's important to me that we are getting people at the lowest end so that they can start to move through the housing continuum as they get those support services going through.
The Saskatchewan Realtors Association says adding housing at any level helps the entire market.
We know that anywhere if we increase that supply in that housing continuum, it's going to have a trickle-down effect upstream and downstream. And so any kind of option that we see that will add more housing in our community, we see as a very positive recommendation.
The plan focuses on diversifying housing, increasing affordability, and ensuring fair access to housing. It outlines several targeted actions, most set to begin immediately. The housing strategy will be presented at 2 City Committee meetings Wednesday. Councillors will consider 3 budget options for 2026-2027. The first at $2.5 million, the second at $4.5 million, or the third at $8.6 million. City officials say dedicated municipal funding is key to qualifying for time-sensitive federal and provincial grants.
Final decisions will come as part of the 2026-27 business plan and budget talks. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A man is dead after the vehicle he was in tried to get away from police and slammed into a building. The incident began when RCMP were called to a home in Creighton for a domestic dispute that saw a man assault a woman. The woman was reported to have been taken against her will by the man, who then drove away. When officers tried to pull over the vehicle, it took off. Police tried to use a tire deflation device, but the vehicle did not stop. It continued for about a kilometer until it slammed into a building. The driver ran from the scene. A 20-year-old man who was a passenger was seriously injured and died in hospital. Saskatchewan's Serious Incident Response Team has been called in to investigate. Meanwhile, the driver of the vehicle, a 27-year-old man, is facing a string of charges, including assault, dangerous operation of a vehicle, and leaving the scene of an accident causing death. A man has died following a crash near Lanigan. RCMP say an SUV and a tractor-trailer collided at the intersection of Highway 16 and Highway 20 Friday night at about 7:30. The passenger of the SUV died at the scene. He has been identified as a man from another country. The driver and 2 other passengers in the SUV were taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The semi-driver was not injured. There is no word on what contributed to the crash. And RCMP have released more information about a crash Thursday morning east of Nipawin. RCMP say a vehicle traveling on Highway 55 struck a pedestrian. The pedestrian died at the scene and at last word had not been identified. The driver remained at the scene. One person was taken to hospital after a vehicle hit the side of a convenience store over the weekend. Police were called to the Co-op on Ludlow Street yesterday just before noon. An SUV was left with significant damage, as was the building. The area was taped off while the crash was investigated. The driver and only person in the SUV was believed to have suffered non-life-threatening injuries. Police suspect impairment was a contributing factor in the crash. Well, I think wind was the word of the day today. It's pretty windy out there. Left me speechless, clearly.
Yes, we had a windy day, and it started off cool, cold to some people, and certainly we had a cool Sunday for the most part, even though the sun came out later on. But what we want to be talking about or concentrating on is the fact that temperatures are going to get back to seasonal or warmer for a number of days until about Sunday. And we'll talk about Sunday later on.
The Saskatchewan NDP convention drew over 600 people this weekend, its leader receiving a strong show of support. And as Hallie Mandrick reports, she's also getting the backing of a former Sask Party MLA.
The Saskatchewan New Democratic Party convention brought together party members from across the province over the weekend, including many first-time convention goers.
It's not often that NDP members from all across the province get to meet in one space, especially 600 of us.
During the weekend, NDP leader Carla Beck received the highest post-election review result in the party's history, which means she will continue to serve as party leader. It was also an opportunity for new delegates to learn from those who have been with the party for decades.
I've dedicated a lot of my time to very specific areas, including legal spaces, Indigenous legal spaces, and learning about the economy, learning about agriculture, learning about how we speak to one another across this province and how we can get things moving for everybody. I mean, I'm here to learn, and I've been learning.
Among the many first-time attendees, former Sask Party Speaker of the House, Randy Weeks, showed off his new member card.
My experience as Speaker and watching how the Sask Party has really turned to an extreme right-wing party, and just the party is just not something that I want to be associated with.
While serving as MLA and Speaker of the Legislative Assembly, Weeks posted a photo of his Sask Party membership card cut into pieces before sharing allegations of harassment among caucus members. The Sask Party provided a response to Weeks' comments saying, quote, Randy Weeks is a disgruntled former MLA who lost his 2024 Saskatchewan Party nomination by a substantial margin, then joined the NDP to help them lose the election. But Weeks says he's not very concerned with the response of his former party.
Oh, no, I don't care what they think about me being at this convention. I'm very proud to be here, and I will be supporting Carla Beck and the NDP.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Premier Scott Moe is supporting a Saskatchewan Vice Chief speaking out against the Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations. Fourth Vice Chief Craig McCallum wrote an open letter last week responding to the allegations the FSIN is facing after a federal audit questioned more than $34 million in spending over a 5-year period. In his letter, McCallum, who was elected to the executive last fall, said there needs to be change moving forward and that denial and deflection will not restore trust. McCallum went on to say the audit needs to be taken seriously and this time should be used as a turning point.
I did appreciate Chief McCallum's comments to ensure everyone is moving forward in an honest and humble way, and I think that is in there are some words for all of us.
Mo says Ottawa is the FSIN's largest funding partner, with the province working with the FSIN on the gaming agreement to keep casinos operational. Last week, FSIN leadership said it has set a new standard for financial accountability and transparency unmatched by any other organization in Canada. Premier Scott Moe says his government is not considering an end to photo radar in the province, even amid talks to move away from it in Ontario, where Premier Doug Ford has called it a cash grab. Wayne Mantika reports.
Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe doesn't agree with Ontario's Doug Ford when it comes to photo radar.
What I did hear that Premier Ford was sounding off on photo radar in Toronto and Ontario.
Last month, Ontario Premier Ford called photo speed enforcement a cash grab and is planning legislation that would ban its use.
It's out of control right now, and things have changed.
Ford believes there are ways to reduce speed that does not involve tickets.
If you have a speed bump, you aren't zipping by at all. Or if you have a roundabout, you aren't zipping by. And the warning with the flashing signs coming at you, you know to slow down.
This past weekend, a group of Ontario parents rallied to save photo speed enforcement. Now, several Ontario mayors are proposing a compromise that would restrict where the cameras can be located.
Consider allowing the speed cameras to continue in school zones.
Earlier this year, Alberta restricted the cameras to school and construction zones. Saskatchewan's Scott Moe says his government has not considered similar changes.
But I think it has proved to be effective in keeping speeds at a minimum, in particular in school zones. That's would be the highest priority space. And so we haven't had any of those discussions here.
The Premier suggests that changes to photo speed enforcement is not a priority. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
A Saskatchewan man who suffered a brain injury as a result of a car crash is getting into the world of 3D printing, hoping that his creations can help others. As Carla Shinkarek explains, he's working to reinvent himself with a meaningful project that could help others with adaptive technology.
But you can build a variety of devices. The only thing that's restricting you is your imagination.
Nicholas Vogan spends a lot of time here in his home office. He makes products on his 3D printer, assistive devices to help people with disabilities.
Any device that would fit in that box, so I can create those wide range of assistive devices and like little gizmos and gadgets.
He was a computer science student at the U of S, but a car crash in 2020 left him with a brain injury and limited use on his right side. He didn't let that keep him down. This is one of the devices he makes. It helps people focus on their reading.
It allows you to track down word by word and keep your place.
This is another one. It's currently being completed in his 3D printer. It helps people hold playing cards.
It makes them very visible and easy relatively to organize. I am looking for individuals that have needs for assistive devices, and I want to build them for them, but it's hard to connect with the individuals that have that need.
He's invested some of his own money, and he also got a grant for part of the cost of his printer from the group Makers Making Change, which assists people with disabilities.
It's all about connecting volunteer makers to people with disabilities who need low-cost assistive tech.
Makers Making Change has photos on their website of assistive devices that can be made by people like Vogan.
Things that could be 3D printed to help somebody open a bottle of water, joysticks for adaptive gaming, or computer mouses that you use with your mouse.
Vogan is also developing an adaptive keyboard, which could be custom to any gaming device.
I love soldering, and also I can use my software expertise.
The products are relatively inexpensive and locally made at his Martensville home. For Vogan, this isn't about making money, but more about making his life purposeful. Carla Shinkarek, CTV News, Martensville.
As the weather cools off, you've likely seen at least some birds in flight. A popular stop before heading south is the northern end of Last Mountain Lake, which also happens to be the oldest bird sanctuary in North America. Sierra D'Souza Butts takes us there.
Living near a National Historic Bird Sanctuary is a unique experience for the Nordic family.
The scenery, the quietness, we say it's so quiet. It's so loud. It's quiet. It's hard to describe.
But it's not just the serene surroundings. Troy says the sanctuary provides an educational opportunity to his children.
I've learned that there's a bunch of birds here, and it's just a really good place here.
Many different birds, and the sunsets are very amazing. It's just beautiful.
The Last Mountain Lake Migratory Bird Sanctuary, located 165 kilometers southeast of Saskatoon, is home to millions of birds using the space for various reasons, including migration.
The birds will go up the continent of North America from where they spend their winter, which can be in Texas, in Minnesota. It could be all the way down to South America, Argentina. They spend their winters there, and then they hopscotch up the continent in areas that have decent habitat and are safe for them.
Hecker says the historic site sees millions of birds of various species every year, particularly in the spring and fall, who are traveling as far as 15,000 kilometers.
Kind of surreal to me. You see them, it just seems impossible that they can go that distance.
The birds that nest in the Arctic and the boreal forest across Canada's north coast are up here, and then when they go to migrate, they actually narrow themselves down and come through parts of Saskatchewan, and we're right in the middle of that central flyway. Then once they get past Saskatchewan, as they continue their migration, then they fan out again.
The site is the first bird sanctuary established in North America, with Canada's first Prime Minister, Sir John A. Macdonald, signing the cabinet documents back in 1887. The land is also home to Canada's first protected area set aside for wildlife. With fall migration being a great time to visit the sanctuary, Hecker reminds people that the site is open to the public year-round from dawn to dusk. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
Still to come, class was canceled in Alberta today. A look at the dispute between the province and its teachers. And the Prime Minister pressed to find relief for Canadians hit hard by U.S. tariffs. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. Prime Minister Carney is off to Washington again for another high-stakes meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump. While the Carney government is trying to temper expectations, there is pressure on the Prime Minister to find some tariff relief for hard-hit sectors like steel and aluminum. CTV's Mike Licouture reports.
Canadian officials are cautiously optimistic that tomorrow's meeting could pave the way for some relief on steel tariffs. And politicians from both sides of the border are hoping for the same.
I'll be very blunt. You never know what comes out of a meeting with President Trump.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford is hoping for some tariff relief, but says the U.S. president will say one thing one day and then change course the next. At a gathering of governors and premiers from around the Great Lakes, Pennsylvania's Josh Shapiro said tariffs are hurting the U.S.
We're still seeing prices go way up because the president decided to push the tariff button and drive up costs on the American people. It is dangerous, the rhetoric he's engaged in, and his practices are making things cost more.
U.S. tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum remain at 50%, while Trump is increasing levies on other products like softwood lumber and wood furniture. One former special advisor on Canada-U.S. relations for then Prime Minister Justin Trudeau believes Tuesday's meeting could yield some progress.
Either because you hope that you're close to an agreement and you would like to push it over the finish line with a signature moment and a handshake and an opportunity, or to push forward on something that's stalled or slowed.
Expectations are high from opposition leader Pierre Poilievre. In a letter to the Prime Minister, the Conservative leader demanded Carney keep his campaign promise to negotiate a win, including the removal of all tariffs on Canadian goods. The White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt says trade will be one of the many issues discussed between Carney and Trump when they meet in the Oval Office. Mike Licouture, CTV News, Ottawa.
The federal government is changing when it delivers the budget and how it calculates expenditures. From now on, all budgets will be delivered in the fall. The Liberals say the changes will provide more clarity, while critics say it's a move to downplay increasing debt. Judy Trin has the details.
In a break with long-standing practice, the finance minister says all future budgets will come down in the fall, enabling the government to get transfer payments out earlier in the fiscal year.
It's also going to provide more predictability, I would say, for provinces and territories. I've been talking to them, businesses and organizations that rely on federal funding.
The Liberals are also changing the budget framework to separate day-to-day spending from capital investments. Operational day-to-day costs include health and social transfers and government salaries, while capital investments encompass spending on major projects, housing, clean energy, and infrastructure.
When will the budget be balanced?
At the Finance Committee, the opposition slammed the minister for budget changes that don't add up.
Debt is still debt at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how many columns you try to present in front of Canadians and try to trick them. Are you guys going to be cooking the books?
It's irresponsible for a member of parliament to use language like that. I will say that. It's irresponsible.
The changes come after the interim parliamentary budget officer estimated that Canada's deficit will grow to $68.7 billion this year. Some economists say clearly showing how much the government is spending on capital investment is important.
What are we using debt finance for? Is it for, for capital investment, like, in terms that will be there for decades? Or is it for current consumption?
The government says it will balance its operational budget, the day-to-day spending, in 3 years. For more details, the finance minister says we'll have to wait until November 4th when he tables the budget. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Next door in Alberta, the province issued a lockout notice to teachers today. It comes after 51,000 educators walked off the job in Alberta's first province-wide teachers' strike. The union says it has resumed exploratory conversations with the province, but negotiations have not restarted. At issue are classroom conditions and pay. The province's offer included a 12% wage increase over 4 years, funding for 3,000 new teachers and 1,500 education assistants. The union says at least 5,000 new teachers are needed. Today, the Premier called on the union to end the strike and return to the negotiating table. In Egypt, indirect negotiations began today between Israel and Hamas. Both sides have endorsed the overall principles of U.S. President Donald Trump's peace plan. It would see an end to the fighting, the release of the hostages, and an influx of aid to Gaza. But they are seeking clarification of crucial details of the proposal. Some of the contentious issues include demands that Israel pull out of the enclave and Hamas lay down its weapons. The plan has the backing of Arab and Western countries. Tomorrow is the second anniversary of the Hamas attack on Israel that killed 1,200 people. 251 others were taken hostage. Israel's retaliatory military campaign has killed more than 67,000 Palestinians. All right, Jeff, so about Sunday. I know you're working to fix that, right?
Oh, yes, yes, exactly. I'll do what I can, but ultimately things are looking cold.
Yeah.
It's like, and if it's not Sunday, it'll be Monday. So that's the way things are shaping up. But before we get to the forecast, let's take a look at our current temperatures. 8 degrees in Saskatoon, 4 in Prince Albert, 7 in the Battlefords, and right now moderate winds, but it's just straight up cold. Let's not kid ourselves. 12 was the daytime high in Saskatoon. That's 2 degrees below seasonal, nowhere near the record warm temperature of 28 in 1980. The record cold temperature, ouch, minus 12 in the year 2000. The sun came up at 7:16, and it's going to go down, or rather, it's going to go down in about 8 minutes.
Coming up, the pop that's become super popular. What's behind a surge in these soda sales?
Attention shoreline anglers, still time for you to cast a line. Tuesday on Your Morning, fishing expert Jason Matadee with some tips to reel in the big one this Thanksgiving weekend.
All right. Yes, moon on the horizon. There you go. It's my new jazz album. But a beautiful sky, some lovely shapes and colors. It's like Jello 1, 2, 3. Now that was a miracle product. Anyhow, it was good. I like Chilla 1, 2, 3. Anyhow, let's take a look and see what we've got going on. And 4, 5, and 6, we've got ourselves some cold temperatures out there. But we have, we're expecting more in the way of some moisture through the north coast. There is much more in the way of action. There's a low off the coast of California. It's going to be pushing some of that moisture up into BC. As you can see, some of that moisture making its way through Alberta and impacting big time on a different low altogether. But of course, Manitoba really got hit with a lot of rain on the weekend. Some places, especially in southeastern parts of Manitoba, I think 60 millimeters of rain in Sprague. And so, yes, it was about 30 millimeters, I believe, in Winnipeg. So it was rainy in other places, but not so much in Saskatchewan. And if there is going to be anything, it'll be up north, maybe a little bit of snow, and we'll have to wait and see. Let's get out of the way, Jeff, and take a look at our numbers once again. 8 degrees in Saskatoon, winds out of the north at 15, 4 in Prince Albert, winds from the north at 11, and the Battlefords, 7 degrees right now, northerly winds at 15 kilometers an hour. Val-Marie was the hot spot at 16 degrees. Mankota was the cold spot at a cold -10. Around the province we go. So currently it is 8 degrees in Lloydminster, 11 in Swift Current and Estevan, 12 in Moose Jaw, 10 in Regina, and 6 in Yorkton. Into central parts of the province, and some chilly temperatures out there to be sure. Waskesiu sitting at just 2 degrees right now. It's 9 degrees warmer at 11 in Kindersley and Rosetown, but everywhere else is in single digits. Up north, well, we've got ourselves some temperatures on the minus side right now. -1 in Key Lake and Collins Bay. Just on the plus side in South End, and 3 degrees in Buffalo Narrows, 2 in La Ronge and Sandy Bay Island Falls. And down south, most locations in double-digit temperatures. That's not true of Last Mountain and Melville. They're around 7 degrees right now, but it does warm up to 14 in Maple Creek, 13 in Leader. A lot of locations around that 11-degree mark. Now on to our futurecast. Not a lot in the way of active weather, and we're taking a look at those pressure lines. They don't get that close together, so not a particularly windy Tuesday in store. So let's take a look up north for tomorrow. 11 degrees for La Ronge, 6 in Stony Rapids, 14 in Buffalo Narrows, and 6 in Key Lake. Mainly cloudy skies and temperatures in the high teens, low 20s for west central Saskatchewan. For the southwest, a bit more sunshine and slightly warm, but just slightly. 20 degrees in Maple Creek and Outlook, 22 in Leader, 19 in Swift Current, 13 for Yorkton tomorrow, 18 in Regina, 20 in Moose Jaw, 17 in Estevan, and 17 as well in Watrous, 14 in Melfort, 16 in Humboldt, and Hudson Bay, just 11 degrees on Tuesday. 0 overnight for the Battlefords, 20 degrees tomorrow, a bit on the breezy side at times, 18 on Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, not bad, the 14, which is seasonal, 20 on Friday, Saturday 18, but yeah, dropping off big time on Sunday, and a chance of could be rain, could be snow, could be both. -7 degrees for Prince Albert with partly cloudy skies and mainly cloudy conditions on Tuesday. Mainly sunny or sunny skies Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, getting up to 19 on Friday, 19 as well on Saturday, but 40% chance of showers on Sunday and a very chilly 4 degrees. -3 overnight in Saskatoon. The winds will be backing off. 19 tomorrow with mainly cloudy skies, winds out of the south 20, gusting to 40. And then on Wednesday, we have a high of 21 degrees, 15 on Thursday, Friday mainly sunny, and 21 on Saturday, and temperatures of around 5 degrees for Sunday and Monday. How about that Travis Kelce song? Taylor Swift's new album got the pop star to the top of the weekend box office. The film release party for Swift's album, The Life of a Showgirl, took over the theaters this weekend. It offered a behind-the-scenes look at how the singer-songwriter's 12th album came together. Screenings of the film brought in $33 million across North America. The album itself sold 2.7 million copies on its first day in the U.S. That includes both physical and digital formats. One of Canada's most famous rock bands is reuniting. Geddy Lee and Alex Lifeson of Rush say they will be heading out on the North American tour next year. It will be their first tour since 2015 and their first since drummer Neil Peart died of cancer in 2020. The tour, titled The 50-Something Tour, will see multiple shows in 7 cities beginning in Los Angeles in June. The band will play Toronto next August.
Because this is serious. serious. We're facing the greatest threat to freedom and democracy the world has ever known. And we all know what that threat is. Late night TV.
Saturday Night Live returned for its 51st season this weekend with the opening sketch making fun of a recent speech by the U.S. Defense Secretary and the controversy over Jimmy Kimmel's comments following Charlie Kirk's killing. Bad Bunny hosted the show for a second time a few days after he was named halftime show performer at next year's Super Bowl. And Doja Cat was the SNL season premiere's musical guest.
All right, Jeff, I hear we have some extra photos for Pick of the Day.
We sure do, and quite a variety here. We're going to start off with this one. This one goes back a little while, but this comes to us from Arthur Witter. He says, this is a picture of George. Now, they sent this in on Friday, so it's a belated birthday greeting here. Picture of George Witter, who turned 91 yesterday. Arthur says he was and remains fascinated by ancient Egypt. So when we saw the chance to take a cruise in 2013 that stopped in Alexandria, Cairo for a day, we took it. So, yeah, a great shot there. And thank you very much. I know what, Art, well, I'll tell you later. This next one comes to us from Bernie Prosper. This was taken in the Outlook area on Saturday morning, coinciding with the 79th annual Beavis Breakfast. Now, I happened to be there. Now, most of the people in attendance saw this rainbow en route to the breakfast. Someone, well, it was Steve Shannon, commented that the rainbow must be the spirits of those longtime attendees who are no longer with us, and that would include Jim McCrory and Greg Barnsley. So thank you, Brenda, for that, for Bernie, rather, for that lovely shot. And thanks to the Beavis family and Chef Pablo and the crew. The next one comes to us from Elton Dutka. You say Dutka, I say Dutka. I went to Elton's wedding, and even the family can't agree on how to pronounce the last name, but there you go. Elton says, this is our team at the Saskatoon Wildlife Federation 200-person fall supper held Saturday night at the clubhouse on McCormick Drive. And in attendance, you see there, you say Wade Squires, Howard Clausen, Rob Freeberg, and then on the end there with the glasses, that is Elton himself, the president of the Saskatoon Wildlife Federation. And finally, to wrap things up on Pick of the Day, it's an extra bonus here. This comes to us from Natalie. Football day in Saskatoon. Took our son to his first Huskies home game. Halftime fireworks were fantastic. Big win over the Golden Bears was the cherry on the top. What a game. And if you'd like to share a photo with us, you can do so by sending it to CFQC News at ctv.ca, and please put Pick of the Day in the subject line.
Still to come on CTV News, the sweet treat taking the beverage industry by storm. What's behind the popularity of the carbonated concoction?
Your morning just got a little brighter. Start your day with CTV Your Morning, and you could win $20,000. For your chance to win, watch CTV Your Morning Saskatchewan, weekday mornings 6 to 9.
It's a drink that is rising in popularity. For Gina DeClute on what dirty soda is and why it's so appealing to consumers.
A new twist on pop took the United States by storm when it was featured in a hit reality TV show last fall. It didn't take long before dirty soda bubbled its way into Saskatchewan.
It's definitely a sweet treat. Like, you can curate to what flavors you want in it, and it's a little bit something special, you know, a lighter snack than ice cream.
At Trans Mercantile in Moosomin, the viral sensation has been a hit since opening their shop in May.
It's a vendor collective, so we have a little bit of local artisans and people that love to make things, and we love to showcase them. So we have that, and then a cafe and some dirty sodas, and, you know, definitely a sip and shop kind of place.
Desert Sweets in Regina also added the carbonated concoctions to their menu in May, and business was bubbling all summer long. But what is dirty soda exactly? And what makes it, well, dirty?
So dirty soda is you start with soda, or we have Alani's as well, and Red Bull sodas as well, and you add like syrups and or cream to them.
The drink was spearheaded by the Mormon community due to their religion's restriction on alcohol. But it's a nice refreshment for others as well.
If your provider's doing it right, there's diet pop and diet syrup options, and diabetics can get a soda, or lactose-free people can get a dirty soda. It's can be inclusive if you want it to be.
Owners we spoke to agree that it's a pop culture phenomenon.
I think we were so excited to bring it in because, like, we kind of think that now with, like, the 25-year-old under crowd, coffee's, like, kind of out, I guess.
And the flavor combinations are endless, some of the most popular being...
Well, probably the Dr. P's recipe, which is a Dr. Pepper grenadine, and then we use True Lime packages.
Our most popular flavor is definitely the OG, so it's going to be coconut, vanilla, and cream in Dr. Pepper.
And just because summer is over, it doesn't mean dirty sodas are going away anytime soon.
But this is something that is so fun, and there's so many combinations that we can do, that we'll do seasonal ones and we'll have them year-round.
So you can get the dirt whenever the craving strikes. Frugina de Kloot, CTV News, Yorkton.
When we come back, a Huskies player runs into the record books, and later an amazing sight at a Canadian farm.
All right, welcome back, and we'll take a quick look at our rural forecast for tomorrow. Well, a sharp contrast from today, because look at these temperatures towards the western boundary. 21 degrees in Lloydminster and Kindersley, 20 for Outlook, 18 in Meadow Lake, 17 in a number of other locations, and even 11 degrees in Hudson Bay. Yes, it's below seasonal, but not by much. 15 in Wynyard, and making our way into southern Saskatchewan. Well, many locations, particularly in central and the western parts of this part of our map, looking pretty good in and around that 20 or 21 degree mark. And then as we take a look towards the eastern side of this map, you can see temperatures dropping off, but Kenora, Broadview, Carlisle, basically around 13 degrees, which is not too far off seasonal. Now, for the Southie area, 17 degrees tomorrow, partly cloudy skies, and a southerly flow there. Winds out of the southeast, 20 gusting to 40, so not bad in terms of our early October weather. And Southie is where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
A member of the U of S Huskies has entered the record books.
They push the pile, and this one, no signal yet. There it is. That's a touchdown.
That touchdown on Saturday night by Riker Frank helped him claim the all-time record for career total touchdowns with 31. And he may get into the record books again later this season. Frank also chasing the all-time rushing record set by Doug Rosen 26 years ago. The touchdown from Frank was one of 4 on the night for the U of S Huskies, who defeated Alberta 31-24 to clinch a playoff berth and remain in the first place in the Canada West Conference. The Huskies will head out to Vancouver this weekend to face the UBC Thunderbirds before returning home on October 25th, when they will play Manitoba. With 3 games left in the CFL regular season, the Roughriders are a win away or a Stamps loss away from clinching first in the West and a bye to the West final at Mosaic Stadium. While it was the defense that highlighted last week's win in Ottawa, the offense continues to build chemistry after the return of several starters. Donovan Mace has more.
Harris over the middle. First down to the 25. Look who it is. Schaefer, Baker back in the lineup.
After missing 13 games due to injury, Kean Schaefer-Baker is more than excited to be back catching footballs.
Just being out here with the boys, there's no better feeling than that.
However, that extended time away does mean he is refamiliarizing himself with the Riders' offense.
It's never an easy adjustment. You know, even during that time, I really harped on just getting some of the younger guys ready and making sure they were ready to step into their roles and hit the ground rolling.
In fact, injuries throughout the receiving corps have made for some miscues.
Harris, end zone, no!
16 different players have caught at least one pass from quarterback Trevor Harris so far this season. A rotating door on offense impacting chemistry.
When everybody plays different and loses positions, it's going to be a little bit of time, you know, But thankfully, I've got plenty of reps with these guys.
Now, despite that, Saskatchewan remains near the top of the league in most offensive categories, something coordinator Mark Mueller credits Harris for.
He works the whole time. He gets throws with certain guys. Hey, we need to work this. We haven't got it. Hey, we missed that one. Let's do it again. And that just brings the best of everybody. So it does take some time.
As the team hopes to peak with its full complement of weapons in the lineup just in time for the final stretch before playoffs.
It's become a familiarity, and I think we're going to be hitting our stride just at the right time.
Donovan May, CTV News, Regina.
Your morning cup of coffee will cost you a little more if you get your brew from Tim's. Marella Fernandez has those details.
Tim Hortons is raising its coffee prices for the first time in 3 years. The coffee chain will charge 1.5% more per pour, or about 3 cents a cup. Tim Hortons' input costs have risen, with the price of coffee beans alone more than doubling in the last 3 years. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down a fraction to 71.68. West Texas Intermediate crude is up to 61.34. Western Canadian Select is up to 49.48. And the TSX hit another record close again today, gaining 60 points and ending the day at 30,531. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marella Fernandez.
Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon is just under $1.32 a liter. The lowest price in town, $1.24.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco was up $1.52, and Nutrien finished the day at $84.17. Coming up, celebrating plays on the football fields. Then the Corny Creation in tribute to a Canadian band.
Hey there, it's Derek Chesney here at the Saskatoon Crimestoppers. This week on Crimestoppers Unmasked, we're needing your assistance to identify 2 suspects that were involved in a brutal early morning armed robbery on the city's west side. On September 18th, 2025, at about 8:45 in the morning, a student was walking to school on the Blairmore Bikeway. He was approached by 2 individuals between Hart Road and the pedestrian overpass. The suspects demanded his property, and when he refused, one assaulted him, punching him repeatedly and cutting his face and head with a large hunting knife. After a brief struggle, the suspects fled. The injured student continued to school, where he reported the incident and received medical attention. The main suspect is described as a male, 15 to 18 years of age, with light brown skin, black curly hair, wearing a dark green or gray hoodie. The second suspect was described as a Caucasian male, 15 to 18 years of age, with blonde hair, and was wearing a red shirt. Do you have information about these suspects or information about any other crime? If so, please give us a call at 1-800-222-8477 or leave a tip online at SaskatoonCrimestoppers.com. You can also check out our Instagram and our homepage for photos of the suspects and other active crimes within the city. We pay cash rewards of up to $2,000 for information that leads to an arrest. We don't want your name, we just want your assistance. Saskatoon Crimestoppers, do your part to stop crime in our community.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the Beauty Bar.
Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you right here on CTV. Well, Saturday marked Football Day in Saskatoon. More than 1,900 youth athletes competed throughout the day in and around Griffith Stadium, showcasing some skills in both flag and tackle football. The Saskatchewan Roughriders also making an appearance. And Saturday was a great day weather-wise.
Great day for football. Yeah. Beautiful football weather. Sunday, a little crisp.
Yeah, a little bit. So it's a good thing it was on Saturday. But it looks like they were having a lot of fun.
I think so, yeah. Getting coached up there.
Learning lots, yeah. All right, well, a farm in New Brunswick is paying tribute to a Canadian band celebrating 40 years of music. The Hunter Brothers Farm in Florenceville has created a 6-acre puzzle in honor of Blue Rodeo. The farm has been creating corn maze art for 25 years now, with previous nods to Gordon Lightfoot, Stan Rogers, and Terry Fox. It's a multi-step process. Once they think of a design, they work with a graphic designer to draw it all out, and then an engineer plots out exactly where they need to remove the corn.
That is very, very impressive.
Yeah, a lot of detail for
no kidding
for that. So
no kidding. It was funny when you said the Hunter brothers. It said Hunter brothers from Shaunavon. What's this got to do with them?
Hunter Brothers Farm.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, very impressive indeed.
Yeah. Very cool.
So, very cool is what we will be expecting on Sunday.
And Monday.
But until then, things are actually looking not bad. The improvement certainly from yesterday and even today. So tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. it'll be up to 6 degrees by noon, 11. And in mid-afternoon, probably around 18 degrees. So that's above seasonal by about 4 degrees for a daytime high. 17 by 5 o'clock. And it's going to be a bit on the breezy side, but it's a southerly breeze, so it's a warm wind.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess we have that, right?
That's right. We'll always have Paris.
Thanks for watching. Have a good night.